everyone, I'm Rebecca and welcome back to my sewing room. This week we are continuing with my Regency Redingote project. If you didn't see last week's video, that is part one of this project, so that will be linked down below if you want to go check that out first. But basically, I am making this redingote. Now on Caroline here, it's really more of a coat. It's quite short. Redingotes were actually full length. Like they could sometimes go all the way down to the ground, even with a train. I'm not going quite that long on mine, but I am going to go down to like just above the shoe-ish. But otherwise my redingote will be mostly the same as this one here. Now, if you missed last week's video, I am making mine out of acrylic fabric that I got while Joann's was going out of business. And right now, my redingote looks like this. So the bodice is all cut out and sewn together. I showed you this at the end of last week's video. It is super soft, which is really awesome. And I'm in the process of cutting out all of the longer skirt panels. So that's what's going on back there in the background. I have all of my lining panels cut out and I'm in the process of cutting out the outer acrylic panels and flatlining those to the liner. So I'm going to continue on with that for now. I am using my serger to flatline because this is a costume. This is not historical accuracy here, people. Though, don't worry, I'm not going to use Velcro to close mine up. But yeah, I'm going to finish up with that. And once those are all flatlined, then we can begin the actual construction of the redingote. And I think I'm going to even do something even more not historically accurate. And I think I'm going to add pockets in mine because pockets are just nice. And I feel like it would be nice to have pockets. And I know that in the Regency era, they never put in pockets. But you know what? I want pockets in my redingote. So I'm going to add those while I assemble all of the skirt pieces. I've come up with what feels like a rather weird pocket pattern, and honestly I'm tempted to change this because I think it looks so weird. But basically I extended the top of a standard pocket pattern by 3 inches because it is not at my natural waist. This is up at a Regency waist, but you still need the support on this part of the pocket. So like this part goes into the seam, but this part usually goes into a waist seam, like a horizontal waist seam, to help to hold the rest of this pocket. Now that said, looking at it now, I think I need to actually extend this more and actually make that a little bit wider to give it even more support at the top. So I think I am going to recut this, but it's still a very odd pocket. And really in this one, it's going to be closed down to probably there, like those top 3 inches. And then the pocket opening will be here because that will still put it at a normal waist area for the pocket. I feel like this shape looks a little bit more normal. It is still super, super long. It's still got that 3 inches extra, but I feel like by bringing it out to here and having kind of a more, I don't know, subtle slope, it's going to be a lot more secure in helping that pocket to stay up. And with these, I am not lining them or anything, but this fabric is so soft that I just figured this is going to be a really nice pocket, even if it's not the sturdiest. So now we can start putting all of the redingote skirt pieces together, including our pockets in the side seams. These skirt panels are all together, including the pockets. Honestly, this is really heavy and it makes me a little bit nervous. And because of that reason, I am not going to attach this to the bodice yet because I don't want to wrangle all of this with my sewing table when I am putting the sleeves on. So actually, I'm going to put the skirt section aside now and we are going to turn our attention to the sleeves. So I was really hoping with the sleeves to not have to do a mock-up, but I was looking at the sleeve on my old pelerine and like the under sleeve part, obviously, because that's what we're doing here. And it is just not very full, to be honest. Like it's going to be way too full, I think, at the wrist, but it's not full enough in the shoulder compared to Caroline's sleeve. Because when we look at Caroline's sleeve, she actually has little pleats going into the shoulder, which is like nice detail for an American Girl doll, right? There are 6 pleats going into her shoulder. So I need enough excess fabric in my shoulder that I can pleat that into the armscye. And I measured my armscye. I measured the top of the sleeve head. It's a 27-inch sleeve going into a 24.25-inch armscye. That's less than 3 inches of ease, and I just don't think that is enough. So I could chance it and just kind of slash and spread a little and extend it just a little bit and then taper down at the bottom because this, I haven't actually measured this yet, but hers is supposed to be relatively like the same as the wrist. I mean, obviously I can get my finger up there, but it's supposed to be like a coat sleeve, not a big baggy sleeve at the bottom. And I mean, when I look at my old one, it's right here, when I look at it, I feel like that looks a lot smaller than this. Now, when I made this before, I did fold down all of the seam allowances here. So this is not actually the size 26 sleeve that I had used on there, which is what I was using for the rest of the pattern. However, to get the larger sleeve head, I have already unfolded that. So I did include that in the measurement, but we definitely need to taper this down because this is too wide at the bottom. So I could chance it. I have a lot of the blue fabric left, the acrylic. There is no problem there. You know, if I cut it out and it doesn't work out, great. However, I'm actually running out of the lining fabric. And I have enough for 2 sleeves, but I don't think I have enough for 3 or 4 sleeves. I don't believe I'm going to need that lining on anything else unless I potentially wanted to kind of flatline the waist or the bands or anything like that with it, which to be honest, I probably have enough from cut off pieces. But yeah, so I don't need a ton, but this is all I have left, which is not a ton. I might be able to sneak 3 sleeves out of there if one of them does not work. Because again, I'd rather just like cut them out. I'm really tempted to because it's Friday already. It's like late Friday afternoon, and I had originally hoped to finish this week. That is not happening. I can already tell that because this weekend is chock full of stuff. So I'm just gonna chance it and I'm not gonna make a mock-up. I know, I never do that on this channel. I always mock things up, and like other channels don't. I feel like other people don't mock things up, and I always mock things up. And I really hope that I don't regret this. But I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna slash and spread the top head of that sleeve to increase the width a little bit. I am going to narrow it out at the wrist, and we're gonna make some sleeves. So I actually just measured the wrist measurement on both my existing pelerine and on the sleeve. And when I do take it down to, I think this was the size 20 that I had taken it down to, that is all I did. I didn't actually make it any smaller. That creates basically like a 12-inch circumference on the wrist, which on my wrist looks like that. So frankly, for a coat sleeve, that's actually totally great. So that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to taper it out at the bottom to the size 20, and at the top we are just going to increase it a little bit. Also, I have a note on here that I extended the length by 3.5 inches, but like, I don't need it that much. I cannot get this balanced on here. But you can see I'm holding this up at my shoulder right now, and it is going to my hand. I'm going to compare it with my actual finished sleeve because I haven't done that yet, but I kind of think that I probably wound up chopping a lot of that length off because I might add like an inch or 2, but I definitely don't need to add 3.5 inches. I decided to try this on just to check the sleeve. I did measure it against the pattern. It's the length of the pattern, so I guess I didn't lengthen it, or if I did, I cut it back down. But wow, the back on this is so narrow. I'm not wearing stays. I'm literally still wearing the sweater that I was wearing a moment ago. The back on this pelisse is so narrow, and the sleeve bands on the upper sleeves are really tight. So I don't know if I'm gonna get to wear this again. I assume that the back fits when I put stays on because my corset has not changed. I'm still wearing the exact same corset, and I wear it the same as I did then. Like, it's laced all the way shut at the top. But I will have to redo the sleeve bands, I think, if I were to wear this again, because I'm like, can't move. So, but at least the sleeve length is good. So I'm gonna just widen it at the top just so that I can get those pleats in her shoulder. I'm patting her shoulder right now, she's right here. Just so that I can get the pleats in there, and that should work. I have a couple of flat-lined sleeves. Let's go ahead and pleat them up and set them into the arm size. The sleeves are on. I am obsessed with like the shoulder. I think I got that perfectly, so I'm really glad about that. It actually wound up being, I think I had a little bit more fabric, like by an inch, than I had kind of intended, but I think it looks really good. And I am a little bit worried that it's quite loose through the arm. I'm not wearing a dress under it right now though. I know I should put on my Regency corset and like a long sleeve Regency dress and try this on under this right now. But I don't want to. That's a lot of effort, and I don't want to put that on at the moment. I think it's gonna work. I do think it's like a little bit long. I did actually extend it by half an inch because I was like, oh, but what if it's gonna be too short? So I extended it by half an inch, like just in case. I have not hemmed this or anything like that. And I really, like, before I hem it, I should try it on over a long sleeve and just make sure that that's okay. Even if I don't put the corset on, I should put it on over like a longer puffed sleeve. But then I can do up the hem, which I'm literally just gonna turn twice, so no big deal there. That's just going to be hand sewn down once I turn it up. Like, honestly, I think that is the right length, which is probably a little bit over 1 inch turned up actually. I'm just a little bit worried about the width, so I will have to put our dress on under this in a bit. But before I really finish off the sleeves, I actually want to turn my attention to the collar. I have decided to go with this white despite the kind of ribs that are through it. I just think it's a nicer fur. It looks a lot nicer and it looks a lot closer to Caroline's. So I think I'm gonna mock up a collar first because I don't want to waste this. So I've got some like white taffeta or matte satin or something like that, and I am gonna cut kind of the underside because that's what it's gonna be cut out of, just to make sure that shape works. Once I check that with you guys, obviously I'll show you, then I will cut it out of the fur. I just hope that there's enough in this for a big collar and also the hat, because there's not a ton of this left. We should be good, but the hat is like, I'm gonna have to make up that pattern completely on my own. Oh, also, what's really kind of funny about this in this state, as in like kind of a Spencer state, is that I actually have a royal blue Spencer that's not that dissimilar to this. I think it's double-breasted. It's this one. It's one of the oldest Regency things that I made, like back in 2013 maybe. I think it was literally the second Regency thing I made after a little white dress and the corset. But yeah, it kind of feels like this because that was out of wool, but it's really similar fabric. So I've been looking at the pattern illustrations here as far as the collars go to see which one I think I like the best. I kind of like how this one is like standing up a little and then coming back down, but the shape is all wrong. Really, the shape is more like this one, but maybe something in between those. So I was looking at those two patterns and they have actually the same neckline and general shape. You can just see this one kind of coming to a point on top of it. And I think that instead of coming to such a sharp point on top of it, that I want to kind of like round that out a little bit more, make it a little bit wider through here. And I think that will make the right shape. So I'm going to do that in like some, again, matte satin or taffeta first, just to see what that shape looks like, but hopefully that will work. I do worry that this seems like not really a lot, like it doesn't seem very big, but yeah, maybe it's bigger than I thought. Her collar, by the way, does actually like stand up and then fold over. I don't know how much you can see that, but you see it's going up and then coming down. So I'm hoping that that collar shape will give me the same result. So I have the collar mock-up, or should I say the first collar mock-up, attached to the top of the redingote right now. And the reason I say it's the first is because I can already tell that this is not going to work. Her collar is meant to kind of like stand and roll and then come down. I feel like I'm getting PTSD flashbacks from the rainbow dress that I still haven't gone back to from a few months ago. This is not designed to stand. This is basically designed to just be completely flat. It, I think, is too curved is the problem. I think that the pattern needs to be opened up and be a little bit wider. So I'm going to recut, making it like a little bit wider out, not such a rounded curve of a collar. I also think I'm just going to go ahead and narrow it a bit, like from the width, because this is coming out. Oh, though, now that I'm saying that, wait, I was going to narrow it because it's coming out past the shoulder, but actually if I want it to go up and then fall, then that's going to take up some of this width. So actually I'm not going to narrow it yet. I'm just going to widen it, which should help to create a little bit of roll as it comes up and then down. Hopefully that works. So I have the new collar pinned on now, but sadly, we're actually long into basically like next week's video at this point. It's already Tuesday and I haven't had a chance to sew this on or try this on yet. So we're going to end this week's video here and we are going to continue and hopefully finish the project for next week's video I say really hopefully finished because if the event goes ahead, which it's still a big question mark because the government shutdown is still a big question mark, but the event would be within next week's video. So yeah, you'll have to check back for next week to see if this collar actually works out and to do all of the finishing bits, aka attach this to the skirts, hem the sleeves, hem the skirt, and do the whole front facing plus closures plus the little bands across and the belt, and obviously finish the whole collar situation. So hopefully I can get all of that accomplished. Oh yeah, and make a hat. Oh my god. I don't have a lot of time until this event, and there's a lot left to do considering how many days are filled with rehearsals. But hopefully we'll be finishing this next week for an event that will hopefully be next week. But at this point, who knows? Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and click the thumbs up icon. And if you'd like to see more videos like this from me, please go ahead and click subscribe and the little bell icon to be notified every time I post a new video. I do post videos here on YouTube at least once a week, usually with sewing vlogs out on Tuesdays and sometimes with additional costuming or sewing related content out on Saturdays, especially shorts. But I post every day over on my Instagram, so please go follow me on Instagram. That's at Lady Rebecca Fashions. And if you'd like to help support all of the work that I do on this channel, I do have a link to my Patreon and my Ko-fi down in the description below, or you can send me a super thanks or join my YouTube channel memberships right here on YouTube below the video. I'd also like to give a special shout out to my Edwardian level patrons, Jean, Kim, and the Dowager Duchess Isabel Thompson. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Happy sewing!